Hello, Awaken Beauty. How are you doing, lovely? How are you doing? This is Cassandra from the Awaken Beauty podcast. And I wanted to touch base real quick and just talk about meditation and self hypnosis and what's really going on at a mindfulness level, at an energetic level, and kind of debunk and demystify this process. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. So if your meditation practice or even your self hypnosis process continuously feels like this push and this pull effort, and you just end up giving up and you can't stop thinking or analyzing and wondering if you're doing it right, you're doing the exact opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. And I know you already know this intuitively because you're a bright mama, but that's why I want to demystify this process and how you truly import wave form energetic practices so that they can help support and relieve your stress. Now, waveform, what I mean by that is energetics, right? Because everything is energy. And the purpose, now, if you don't know, I'm releasing a masterclass on self hypnosis called the Unlock the Garden of Your Mind, Your Path to Less Stress and Transformation, is that this purpose of both meditation and self hypnosis is to slow down your brain waves and to get beyond the thinking and analytical mind. And I often talk about the critical factor filter. And that is the point of no return, where we leap into our subconscious. So, what I want you to understand is that you already know how to do this because you do it every day. And if you can begin your meditation practice or your self hypnosis process with the understanding that all you're doing is relaxing your body, just like what you're doing when you're falling asleep, while you're keeping your mind conscious and awake. And if you can continuously just move deeper into this state of relaxation while focusing on nothing or just not thinking, you've just opened the doorway between the conscious and the subconscious mind. All right. So let's talk about the ladder of consciousness. And when the conscious mind is awake and functioning optimally, it exists in the realm of the beta state. Now, there are four different, well, there are more than four, but the four main states of the mind and the frequency and the electrical pulse of them are beta, alpha, theta, and delta. So beta is going to be when you're wide awake. Alpha, you're moving into somewhat of a daydreaming state. Theta into the sleep zone, and delta, deep sleep. So when you are in this beta state, it's when the brain is in this highness of alertness. That means it's overly or highly aroused, it's overly active, right? So this usually indicates someone is living in an emergency mode, otherwise known as fight or flight. So once you get beyond beta, the first layer of subconscious is the alpha brain state. And in alpha, your breathing naturally just slows down and the voice in your head starts to quiet. And the more you continue to relax, preferably with your breath, the more you begin sliding down the ladder of consciousness into theta and delta states, which I previously mentioned. So it takes relaxing, getting comfortable, and discontinuing thoughts to change your brain and your body's, here's the key word, physiology. And you do this every night as you fall asleep. So the antithesis is also true. When you cannot sleep at night, and I am someone who is in this camp, my mind is so creative and it is going 24/7. Now, I am not a mother, but I know you mothers are feeling this as well, girlfriends, because I know that you do, but it typically is because your mind is racing and you're processing thoughts about your family, your job, health issues, something upsetting, or an event that happened earlier in the day. And of course, a worst case future scenario that doesn't actually ever happen, right? So this is this thing where we think in the future and in the past, and it keeps us in a very not present state, but also very unhappy life, living in the future and the past. But becoming present, being with the people that we're with brings so much more joy to your life and serving others. But I digress. This type of continual, ladies, negative thinking manufactures corresponding chemicals in the brain that signal the body to feel emotions emotionally, right? So it's motions in motion. And once we feel those emotions like frustration and judgment or fear or even anger, and anger, let me tell you, is unmet expectations. Okay. We tend to think more thoughts equal to those limiting emotions. So they are very self limiting. And where the energy goes, where the mind goes, the energy flows. So when this happens over and over, the body becomes addicted to these states and thus becomes addicted to the hormones of stress, further mirroring us in a negative feedback loop. So we start to adapt. The body adapts to the energy that you're sending through the thought and the feeling loopholes. So, as a result, instead of sinking deeper into consciousness, our brain waves climb the ladder to higher levels of beta brain wave activity. And in fact, this is where we enter the realm of high beta brainwaves, and now the analytical mind is now again overly active. So it's through our meditative self hypnosis, whatever that time is for you, even if it's just relaxation, you're laying on the ground and you just want to stare at the sky, that's fine. That we enter into the subconscious and change our unwanted programs running, as well as initiating healing and anti-aging for that matter, because there are plenty of studies that negative emotions increase telomere production or decrease telomere production and just ages faster. So think of the subconscious as the brain's operating system. Okay, so by dropping into the operating system of the brain, we can alter our habits, our behaviors, remove emotional trauma, big or small. And if you're not trying to change anything, you can simply open yourself up to receiving things that you're looking for, answers in your life, the possibilities, creating something new. There's so much in the superconscious when you enter that realm of just being in a state of stillness. It's really amazing. So, the deja vu of body asleep and mind awake. So, I want you to look at it this way. Falling asleep and waking up is not something we have to learn how to do. We do it every day. So these 2 times a day are when the door to the subconscious mind naturally opens up. And we go to bed at night. The nighttime neurotransmitter melatonin makes our brain waves go from beta to alpha, from alpha to theta, and theta to delta, which is deep REM sleep. So when we wake up in the morning, serotonin, the daytime neurotransmitter, creates the same process in the reverse. And our brain goes from delta to theta, from theta to alpha, and from alpha to beta. And as we close our eyes and begin the meditation process, it makes sense that when we're changing our brain chemistry from serotonin to melatonin, and thus our brain waves follow suit. It's a trained, innate part of our life. And as we sit still and relax our body, our mind, we can stop thinking because our brain is naturally processed less sensory information when our eyes are closed and relaxed. So if we can allow our bodies to begin to fall asleep while we are aware of our inner world, we're in the perfect state to begin our transformational, or let's call it creative work, right? Whatever you want to do in this state. So just like it's harder to fall asleep when the neighbor is mowing his lawn or your teenager is playing hip hop music in the next room, or even if there's the smell already starting of the coffee brewing in the kitchen, it's harder to get into that meditative state because the external sensory information keeps us focused on the outer world instead of our inner world. So, what's the takeaway? It's kind of like riding a bike. What I want you to understand is relaxing the body yet staying conscious is just a skill to develop. And there's a reason why we call inner work methodologies like self hypnosis and meditation a practice. And when you can completely relax your body and remain conscious, This is the realm where the healing, regeneration, and all the mystical magic happens. And hell yes, ladies, you even age less. So, by sensing the vastness of space around you and becoming nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, no identity, in no time, your body, other people, things in your environment, the past and the future that you were jumping in and out of, they no longer become an object of your attention. Now, you, as consciousness, not the body, are no longer picking up the sensory information around you, which means you no longer are living by the hormones of stress. So, in this state, you are not awake, you are not sleeping, and you're not dreaming. You're in what we call a transcendental state. Now, I love the phrase, I always use it a lot, going from trance to transformation, because really, when I do hypnosis or anything, what we're really doing is unhypnotizing ourselves. And we're getting into allowing our body and mind get into this transcendental state. And this is the unknown realm. And this is where that door opens again to the events like our out of body experiences, spontaneous healings, these mystical moments, these ahas that you've been wondering about and you have a sudden clarity on. So the next time you sit down to either my Garden of the Mind self-hypnosis program or just meditating, I want you to really truly remember that you already know how to do this. Remember the melatonin, the serotonin, remember the state that you need to be in to be able to enter this place, and just practice. Slow down the process and really feel in each one of those stages. Stay aware, expand into your future you've always wanted, and connect to the feelings that create a new future. All right, my love. Thanks for listening. I can't wait to catch you next time on the Awaken Beauty podcast. Thanks for hanging with me as we demystified, brought some science and woo together on meditation and self hypnosis 101. All right, all my love and light. Talk to you soon.